right? Or when we have something important that we want to share with you. Good afternoon and welcome to this brief chit chat. I'm going to be here for a few minutes. It's been a minute. I have not come live for over 10 days, and it's so nice to be back on here. How is everyone doing? My name is Maribeth Chima, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. And I'm the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle. I am that author that your child needs to meet. Yes, I'm that author whose book your child needs to encounter. And this is why I am super excited this afternoon. I am super excited because as I speak, there is something that is ongoing right now. There is a flash sale for my most recent book that is on right now. And I am so excited for those who are going to be reading these two books. All right. So I have been on a journey for the last 14 days and we have the book challenge. We have the summer fun activity book challenge. It is a program that we run in the summer, and we do that from the 1st of August through the entire month of August to the 30th of August. So it's been such an amazing experience. It's been such a beautiful experience. In the midst of it, I had to go on vacation and all of that. So it tells you how we can do so many great things, even behind the scene. It's been so amazing, the last few days, the last 14 days in that challenge, bringing value and bringing, engagement, fun, and all of that, in the last 14 days to children and their parents. It's been short of, I don't even know how to describe, what that challenge has been so far. Parents are excited, the children are excited. In fact, I just came back from dropping my son at a camp this morning, and I met a parent there that, she's telling me how her kids, three of them have just gone to camp, and how they had to insist on doing the tool of the day. They had to insist on taking their challenge for today before going to camp, right? They were like, we have to do it. That's how exciting it's been. That's how amazing it's been, And, at the back of this challenge, or behind the ultimate goal behind the challenge is to get the children to cultivate the habit of reading. All right, to cultivate the habit and the love for reading. That is ultimately the goal behind the challenge. And as I said, it's been it's been amazing. That's what that challenge has been. So it's so exciting for me that right in the middle of the challenge, we also have launched two amazing books, The Destined for Greatness and then Wisdom Stories for Champions. So these two books are books in our series, of books that we have, published in the academy. So we have the Stories for Champions series and then the Skill Up series, right? So Destined for Greatness is a book that is really very close to my heart, and it's really very exciting because I had written, Bedtime Stories for Champions as my first book. And in bedtime Stories for Champions, I was trying to help children, find people who would inspire them. So I wanted to bring to our children young people that can inspire them, young people that they can look at, young people whose stories our children can connect with, and then through these young people, they can see themselves as people who can actually get in that space where they can also start, honing the skills that they have or the talents that they have. They can also start taking some of the wonderful lessons, and the experiences that they have in their environment to start creating solutions to the problems that they see in their environment. Bedtime Stories for Champions is such a bestseller, and 4 years after I wrote that book, it's one book that is still in high demand, because what it does is it puts your child in that place where the child can see other young people and see their passion and what they've been able to do with that passion. And so look inside and think of what they can do also. But because that's it for Bedtime Stories, and it's one book that I am so glad that I wrote. But more than just that, the stories in Bedtime Stories, I started thinking of how we can, leverage all the wonderful people, icons, from Africa, who have done great things. I mean, we are not from a continent where we see so many great, I mean, we're not from a continent where people are position, how would I put it now? We're not from a continent where we see too many examples when it comes to icons and people who go out of their way for the society, for humanity, for Africa as a people. So it's not we're not from that continent where there's a lot of sacrifice and impact at the core of who we are. It is said that we're kind people. It is said that we're happy people. But what we've come to realize over the years, decades, is that our young people struggle because we don't have. There are not so many. There are not too many models, right, to look at. And even for the ones that we have, we are not leveraging, on the uniqueness or the greatness of these people. Yes, we're not leveraging on the greatness of these people and the work that they've done to use, I mean, and to teach our children. Basically, we're not leveraging on the greatness of these icons, our founding fathers, and people who have made sacrifices, for independence, sacrifices to bring, certain quality of value to Africa as a people. So we are not pointing our children to these people. We're not leveraging, the value that these people, have put out there. We're not taking advantage of, how these people have, in their own small ways, or from the society, at the time, from how limiting the society at the time was, or the resources that was available to some of our founding fathers, and and people who have set themselves apart in this continent, right? We With all of the limitations that they had, some of them were able to still break grounds. Some of them were able to, crash ceilings. Some of them were able to do things that have changed the trajectory of, of things that have changed narrative in the continent. And yet, we are not pointing our children to these people. We're not helping our children see these people as models. So at every point, our children are looking out, to people outside the continent, and looking out to people, that people whose life, it's, for many of them, okay, for many of our young people, they can't, people whose life they can't relate to. You understand? People whose lives seem like a fantasy, So I have always wanted to look for how to bring, I've always wanted to bring value as close as possible to children, because I know that children learn more when they can relate to that learning. They can relate to the experience. When the experience is tangible, when the experience is relatable, that's how learning actually happens. And so I went on a research, right, to, look at, African icons who can we can point our children to, that can be inspirational. I mean, whose stories can be inspirational, whose stories can be an inspiration to our young children, so that our children begin to think of themselves, or can see themselves as people who can be great, irrespective of their location, their raise their, limitations, and all of that. And so that's what we did with Destined for Greatness, right? We're trying to say to this preteens, right? We're trying to say to our preteens and every child that will be picking and reading this book, even your teens, that it doesn't matter who, where, and how you look. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are from, where you are at, right, or how you look. You are destined. You were created to be great. You were born for greatness. And so it is time to start looking inward and, stop listening to what, all, I mean, the cultures of this day. Okay, stop listening to all the contrasting, and distracting culture of today is saying to you, right? Because if we don't do this, then our children do not have examples. If we don't do this, then our children do not have models. If we don't do this, then our children will continue to see impact, and greatness as some fantasy. And so that's what I was able to do with, Destined for Greatness. Bring, research these icons and tell their stories in childlike manner, or tell their stories in a way that our children can relate. And if you have read any of my books in the past, you would know that, our books are engaging, our graphics are usually, captivating, in quality and in quality and, in the stories that they tell themselves, that the illustrations tell. All right. And we also, make our stories such that it will trigger conversations between parents and their children, right? The stories that will tell will cause you to have conversations with your children. If you have been listening to me or following me, then you would have heard me say over and over again that perspective is very key. I'm always telling the children that I work with, the children we work with in the mastermind circle, our peer mentorship and accountability group. I'm always telling them about perspective, how, there are different perspectives, to life, to a particular issue in life. And you would have to learn how to, open yourself to, viewing or seeing these different perspectives and using these perspectives to enrich your own knowledge. Okay, so what I do is I create books that will allow parents share their perspectives on different subjects with their children. So, and this is not any different. So, it's going to allow you as a parent dive in and share your experiences, share your perspective of these stories, the life of these people and their experiences. Share what it is that you know about them and the stories that you heard about them as a young person, or if you were born in, at the time where these people, lived and impacted the world. And so you can share firsthand, or same generation, you can share light from, someone who belongs to the same generation with these people. All right, so this opportunity to tell stories, this opportunity to share perspective, this opportunity to connect with your child, this opportunity to initiate conversations with your children is what we are being, it's what we are about. And that's why we will continue to create resources that will help parents and children have this opportunity. All right, very, very key. All right, so very key. And these are some of the reasons behind the creation of this book. If you have also listened to me, you would have heard me say a lot about convictions. All right, now when we tell stories like this, we also give you the opportunity to share your values and convictions with your children. So books don't just tell you stories, or they don't just, talk about scenes, and all of that. Books are a serious, a crucial, very important tool for passing down values. All right. So what we have done with these two books is we have packed them full. We have fill them up with values. Yes, fill them up with values that you can use to reinforce your values as a family, to your children. So when you read through the books, when the children read through the books, they will see that, the values that informed the lives and the choices of these icons, and then they would adapt some of these values as their own personal values. Apart from that, some of these values could be similar, all right, with your value. It could be similar to your values as a family. And so it gives you, a tool, or, so it gives you a tool, right, to reinforce your values, through stories that your children can relate to, stories that are fun, right? So this is it. And then, of course, the last part is we want children to have fun with books. We want children to have fun with books, and that is part of what we did here with the stories. We've told stories, stories in the classroom, stories at home, stories with parents, stories that the children can relate to, stories that, can actually, when the child listens to, the child can absolutely, resonates, stories that will resonate with your child, stories that they can look at and say, oh, this could have been me, and all of that. And basically, when our children are able to see, they're able to see value, they're able to see value impact, through these stories or in these stories, then it's easy for the children to, take after or be inspired by the character and the icons in these stories. All right, so, and that is it. This is what we've done with that book. And then wisdom stories for champions. We wanted to take, practical life situations and use them as teachable opportunities for our children. And so we've told the story of, children who had the chance. We've told the stories, that would help our children, learn through practical experiences that they have every day. And so we have created, scenes after scenes. Okay, we've created scenarios of this practical everyday life activities that happen in our children's lives, and we have used them to teach wisdom. All right, so we know that the way it is today, the way the world is today, there is information all over the place. Our children get all the information that they need, by just a simple click of a button on a phone, on a laptop, or wherever. In fact, they get information even from their friends and people all around. So it's the age where information is just a click away. So as far as information goes, our children are not struggling. They will get information. I mean, my 8-year-old, okay, she's 9 now. My daughter, even when she was 6, if you tell her something she doesn't know, she doesn't understand, she will go straight to a search engine and try to search for it. She was introduced to, learning how to study and research on her own and find out facts on her own. And then she was given all of these tools to help her find facts on her own. But what we did is we made sure that those facts were always, brought to the table so that we can share our perspectives on those facts. Now, what most of our children have is that they get these facts. All right. Now, these facts, they get this information that may not even be facts in some cases. And the moment they just keep getting information without a system that allows them sieve this information, or a system that allows them translate or turn this information into wisdom, then our children would just be packed. They would just be overloaded with information, as is the case in today's world. So what we've done in Wisdom Stories for Champions is we have told stories that we can convert not just, the information that our children have or that they see, okay, or the things that happen in their everyday life. We have created, stories that will turn those information, all right, and turn them into wisdom. The things that happen. And, we created scenarios of children on holiday with their cousins, on holiday with grandma. And then, of course, there are scenes after scenes after scenes that have led to, building their responsibility muscles, building their skills, building their morals, building, developing all of these different aspects of their lives. So they are two absolutely robust books, right? As far as personal development goes, as far as self motivation goes. If you are that parent who is looking to raise a child who is impactful, I mean, as part of your values, you want to raise children who do not just see themselves as people who want to make money, people who want to just have, the big things, people who just want to live the life, but people who want to create things that will outlive them and they can impact and make a difference in the world. If this is the kind of parent that you are, or these are your goals, these are part of the goals that you have as a parent, right? In raising your children, then you need these books, right? You need these books because that's it. We've locked it right there. Our children need to start listening to the right conversations, and these conversations need to be ongoing. Our children need to start reading the right kind of materials, and this has to be ongoing. My daughter was telling me how she was talking to somebody, some people, and she was telling them the kind of books that she reads, and some of them was like, "Oh, boring, boring." Now, if we don't introduce our preteens, we don't introduce our 7-year-olds and 10-year-olds to this kind of stories that are stories packed with, knowledge and packed with personal development, then our children will be stuck on things like Diary of What and Diary of That. They'll be stuck on those kind of books that are very wimpy, those kind of books that are very superficial, those kind of books that do not have depth. Okay, so you want to start introducing this kind of books where there are still stories, that are fun and enjoyable, and then personal development and all of these amazing things are still going on there. It is a great way to tilt your children, to tilt your school age children towards, developing the foundational skills, right, for personal development. If we don't start teaching them to embrace personal development early, and you wait until when they're 17 and 18, chances are your child will push back, because at that point they will see personal development as boring. It is not entertaining. But the moment they are, raised, or they are introduced to this kind of books early, so that they begin to see the importance, of this kind of knowledge. So by the time they are 10, 11, 12, you realize that your child is ready for any kind of knowledge, any kind of resources, provided it will help them develop themselves. All right. So yes, it's a flash sale today for these books that I'm talking about. Okay, so there are two books that are what, as in ordinarily, you will buy these books for 9,000 naira, 4,500 for each of them. You know how printing books are these days, and all of that. All right, but hey, this is what we have done. We have brought these books, and we have given you a 40% discount on these two books. So if you order or pre-order these books between now and 6 p.m. today, you get to pay $5,999 for both of the books. Yes, you get to pay $5,999. That is less than 3K for each of them. And then you can have them instead of 4,500. So by just doing this, you are already saving what? 3,000 naira or so. And then apart from that, you get 3 very important resources. You're going to get 2 guides. One of them, I've said, so I am the mentor mom. I am a child motivation and child support expert. All right. So I know it's my expertise to support children, and my expertise to help parents learn how to support their children. All right. So I have put a guide together that will help your child learn how to study on their own. If you've been following me, then you know that I am so big on children becoming independent learners, because I believe that if we make scaffolding children a consistent thing, then our children will not develop the muscles to study and to enjoy learning on their own. So every parent needs to know and learn how to help their children learn on their own and enjoy studying on their own. Now, when there is a gap where your child needs support, it's okay to scaffold, but scaffolding should be a temporal thing. The way you are building a structure and you put the scaffold until you have gotten that structure the way you want it, and then the scaffold goes off. But when you put scaffold permanently, what it is your child begins to rely on that scaffold for everything. So we're not able to, achieve independent learning in our children. That's why many of us went to school, and 4 or 5 years down the line, we cannot teach, we can't say nothing about what we studied. It's because many times we didn't learn to study and enjoy. So we have a guide that will be doing that for you. We'll be sharing that just because you're buying this book. All right. We have another guide that we have a masterclass, right? We have a masterclass, and this masterclass it's for the children, okay, set to go back to school and excel. So this is not about you. You can go have all of your own teaching, all of your own learning and all of that, but sometimes your voice is not enough. There is always that important. It's very important that you have voices that are corroborating your voice. All right. So whatever you're teaching your children or you're going to say to them about going back to school, you need that person that is going to say it to them in a way that they would understand. All right. And we're talking preteens here, and that is my forte. Okay. It's not one of those, when the children are older. These are younger children. Your 7-year-old, send them to me. Let's have the conversation about going back and winning in school. And you can get them in my class by just ordering these books. All right, so that is it. If you would like to, we have the information already scrolling on the scrolling right now. You can take a screenshot if you are on Facebook or on YouTube right now. On Instagram, I'm going to put the information in the comment section after now, and you can use that to pre-order your books. All right, remember, it's just from now to 6 p.m. By tomorrow, the book will go to the original pre-order cost. Pre-order price. All right, tomorrow it won't be for $5.99. Absolutely not. It won't be by tomorrow. So you want to pre-order today. Pre-order for your niece, your cousins, your brothers. Just do for these children. They need the book. I can say this with my full chest. It's such an amazing book. If you buy this book and you don't get value, come back to me and we will talk about even refunding. That's how valuable these books are. Thank you very much. My children always read my books before I put them up, and they're so excited about these books, giving me reviews already. All right, and feedback already. Thank you very much. So why don't you go ahead and pre-order your copy right now? We are excited. We're here to attend to you. All right, pre-order your copies right now and get it at the best price. And now, by the way, if you join by tomorrow, okay, by the time you're doing the pre-order, normal pre-order tomorrow, you won't have all of the specs, right? You won't have all of the courses and all of that, right? Or you just have maybe just one of them, maybe one of the guides, but not the masterclass. But you want to get all of it, all right? Even your 6-year-old can come for this masterclass. Yes. All right. So thank you very much again. And yes, we are waiting to get you your pre-orders. And yes, you will get your books in less than 2 weeks. That's it. If you're in Nigeria, you'll get it in less than 2 weeks. And if you're in diaspora, don't worry, in 10 days' time, it will be on Amazon. And so you can order paperback or Kindle copy. Thank you very much for joining me. I can't wait to take your orders. Thank you so much. Bye and have a fantastic day. If you're catching the replay, check the information in the comment section and then reach out to us with the details. Thank you very much and bye-bye. Thank you for joining me. Bye. Bye now.